the day. We just went from one place to the other, getting the lines back on.
Yes, sir. What problems have you experienced in the past few days?
Well, just overhead limbs, getting down on the primary lines, and tripping our breakers out. Of course, we'd have to go ride it out and cut the limbs off and, get it back on.
Yes, sir. What areas did this cover?
Well, it covered all of Calhoun City, Grenada, and part of Yellow Bush County.
Yes, sir. And the main cause of the problem was limbs from iced over trees falling on the power line?
That's right.
Well, how do you stand now in having all the problems corrected? Are you through, or?
Yeah, we have everybody back on, as far as we know.
I guess bad weather like this is very hard on power lines. Do you have any advice you could give your customers on how to prevent a power outage in a case like the weather we had over the past weekend?
Well, if they let us trim a few more limbs over the power line, that would help us a lot.
Yes, sir. And do you think there's another oncoming cold front with the water we've received since the freeze over? Do you think we'll have any more trouble?
Well, we hope not. We're in a little better shape than we was.
Yes, sir. We'd like to thank you, Mr. Robertson. This is Paul Heath. Coach, what are things looking like as far as tournaments go in and around, maybe after the Christmas holidays for the Bruce team?
Well, Calhoun City has their invitational tournament the first week after we come back. It opens January the 5th, and both Bruce teams play January the 4th. I'm sorry, I said the 5th, but it's January the 4th, Wednesday night, and both teams play Coffeyville, girls and boys, starting at 7 o'clock. And that's the first tournament I know. After the tournament, a couple of weeks in the middle of January, we have the conference tournament, Tri-Lake tournament. Will be played at Senatobia, and then later we have the sub-district, which will be at South Pontotoc first week in February. That's the tournament situation for the rest of the year.
Well, after the tournaments, kind of give us an idea of the trail to the state playoffs, Coach.
Oh, it's so hard. You only have to win 7 games to be state champions, but it's not that easy because first you have a sub-district, and in District 2 we have the 2 teams from the south and the 2 teams from the north play it off, and 2 teams advance to North Mississippi, and then after North Mississippi you have a state playoffs. That's the trail as far as the breakdown on it, but it gets very difficult, especially after the first or second game.
What about the girls basketball team? Is it picking up again? You know, they did very good in state last year. How's it going this year?
So far, we haven't got it together. We've had a tough person to replace, Pam Hightower. She was a very good basketball player, did a lot of things well for us, and we've had a lot of difficulty replacing her. We've had to change offenses and things of that nature, but we plan to go back to the old way of doing things. And I think their chances are pretty good, that, especially if the girls will get themselves together. We don't have enough time to practice, but we're going to start practicing after school to do anything we can to get ready for the tournament, because that is the most important thing for us, we're concerned.
Well, has this bad weather we've had over the Christmas holidays affected the amount of practice, you've gotten done?
During the Christmas break it has. I like to practice a little bit during Christmas break, but things have been so disordered with the weather and all that we've had one practice where we had everybody together, but the ice and everything is preventing people from getting in.
Yes, sir. As most of you know, Coach Hurst is the coach of the high school baseball team. Can you give us any ideas what the team will look like, or have you started planning for this year yet?
Well, I take them one at a time, but I always try to think in advance, and things look real well for the baseball team. We're going to have to really work hard, because that's a sport where you don't get to practice very much, and we need as much practice time as possible. But we have some good-looking athletes
when does this
baseball is concerned.
Yes, sir. When does the season start for the team?
Officially, the spring holidays, I believe that's about the middle of March, which is a ways off. But they have spring football and everything that takes some of the kids away, and different other activities that will take them away from baseball. But we're going to work with whoever we can as much as possible. We have everyone back from last year, and with age and maturity, they should be a lot better, especially the pitching staff.
Yes, sir. So but still right now you're concentrating mostly on basketball, I guess.
Oh, definitely. We won't, until we lose the last game, we won't think about anything else until then.
Yes, sir. We'd like to thank you for the interview, Coach Harris. This is Paul Heath for TV7 News.
Frank, it's a real pleasure to present this plaque to you in commemoration of your retirement. Let me just read it to you. It says, presented to Frank Cuthers with sincere appreciation and gratitude for 10 years of contribution and service to the Weyerhaeuser Company, signed by George Weyerhaeuser, December 1983. Really appreciate the service and the time you put in, Frank.
That's right.
Shake my hand. You're one of the first retirees we've had here. Really appreciate it.
Now, what's I'm going to say?
Frank, we want to talk to you just a little bit about your retirement and look back at over the years of your work life there. We talked a little bit earlier this morning. I want to talk about some of the things that we mentioned then. First of all, I want you to tell me, what's the first job you can remember having?
First public job? Oh, when I first started out, I started out on a farm. 2 quarters a day in Medina. I was just a real young boy then.
About how old were you?
I guess I was around 15.
Was that around here?
Oh, yeah. That was back then down close to Big Creek.
I believe you told me earlier that the people you worked for are still around.
They're still living.
Who was that?
That's Mr. Arnold's uncle, Jess Carter. He lives in Grenada County now.
Come a long way since then.
Oh, we've come a long way.
What did you do back in the days of the Big Depression we hear a lot about? Tell us what you can remember about that.
Well, we lived on the farm. Raised on the farm right down yonder by that Gawley Tower. Where that Gawley Tower is? I was raised right down there on that farm, on that man's farm down there.
So that's where you were back in those days.
That's where I was in the 30s.
How did what kind of work did people do during that time? How were they paid and such?
Well, most of them was paid $1 a day.
$1 a day.
$1 a day.
Sawmill?
Sawmilling was $1 a day.
Okay, let's move on up just a little bit. Do you remember where you were when Pearl Harbor was attacked? We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Oh, yeah, I was walking down the streets in Cincinnati, Ohio.
What do you remember about it?
What I remember
that morning?
That morning, paper boy come around and brought the paper, and then he went right back to the prison and come back hollering, extra, extra. Japs done bombed Pearl Harbor. That was on a Sunday morning. That day, 12 o'clock, every whistle in the city blowed. Jap, United States gone to war. And they was gone, too.
All right, let's see. What can you remember? Let's look back now at the past, recent past history. Where did you work around here before you came to Weyerhaeuser?
Before I came to Weyerhaeuser?
You worked for the Memphis Hardwood?
No, I was working on a water line back down in South Mississippi when I
so you pretty
came here.
You've pretty well been around a little bit then in your
I've been
work
around
life.
a good while.
What's some good things you can remember about working with Weyerhaeuser?
Good thing I remember about working in Weyerhaeuser? Well, I've had some good, I worked with some good people.
What kind of advice would you like to leave to the younger people and those of us that are still working?
Well, I'm going to say this. Every dollar that you don't have to spend, you need to hold on to it, because it might rain one day.
All right, thank you, Frank.
It might rain.
And that's the way it is. From the Weyerhaeuser plant site here in Bruce, this is Gene Redwine for News 7.
I don't mean rain out the sky. It may rain down high price.
How's that? Very good.
still dressing?
Just look at it and smile.
Look up, baby. I gotta look to get the thread over. Does y'all have that?
Off. Cut it off. What was the other man's name? Bill. It's Paul Heath here with News 7. We're going to try to explain to you what happened in the wreck that occurred here yesterday. We're near Vardaman, going into Vardaman on Highway 8. As you can see, there's a fork in the roads that makes a Y-shaped intersection. There is a stop sign there, as you can see, but what happened is the man driving the pickup truck was coming down this road right here. While this was happening, the diesel was coming down the highway headed west. Okay, the diesel was about right here, and the truck hit the side of the diesel. The impact completely broke the main frame of the truck in. The diesel slid, some glass broke down there and slid in a ditch. Now we'll take a look at the ditch where the diesel went in. When striking the diesel, the front windshield of the truck was completely demolished. And here we have some glass from the windshield and from the headlights. The collision occurred right here. As you can tell, the glass is concentrated in a small area. Now we're going to take a look at the ditch that it went in. Here's the ditch where the diesel did slide into. As you can tell, there are very many skid marks on. The grass was literally burned while the diesel was trying to stop. As you take a look down the ditch, you will notice the logs that came off the truck. And also I see a wheel down there also. And it made some very deep ruts in the ditch. Looks like very big padlocks were lost. And that'll wrap it up here in Vardaman. This is Paul Heath for TV7 News. This is Paul Heath here with TV7 Sports with Coach Hurst and Curtis Stevens, who's been playing and doing a very good job with the Bruce High School Trojans. Coach, tell us a little bit about Curtis and his playing.
Well, first, he's an excellent basketball player. He has a few little things to learn about the game. We have to play him out of his normal position. Probably going to have to do that more than even in the past, but he's an excellent basketball player.
Okay, Curtis, how long have you been playing?
2 years.
Okay, that's with high school?
3 years with high school.
Okay, how long have you lived in Bruce?
4 years.
Do you really enjoy it?
It's okay.
Okay, what positions do you play?
Point guard and right now I guess. Well,
Just about any place.
any place, yeah.
Do you have any idea how many points you have over your high school career?
No.
Okay, what do you think about college, Curtis?
I want to go, that's all I can tell you about it.
Okay, Coach, what's it involved for a student to get a basketball scholarship to go to college?
Well, that would depend upon the college itself. SEC type, Metro Conference or something of that nature. The thing that's a big hang-up with a player that's good enough to play is ACT score. You must have at least 15 on ACT score to enter a major university. Other colleges do not follow such a procedure, and then they have other minority ways in which students can get in, but not SEC or top quality basketball of that nature.
Okay, Curtis, so keep up the good work. Work for it. We'd like to thank Coach Hurst and Curtis. This is Paul Heath for TV7 Sports.
Well, where did Randall go off so I couldn't take his pictures?
No, he was getting prisoners unloaded.
You move in just kind of behind there so we can get your picture along with the,
Gonna get you on TV and they might find out you wanted
No. Soon people might know me.
You don't need to be going on TV. Did you ever made the arrangements trying to get out? You know where to start? What's the call for the head dance? Let me get back. Go to the stairs right there to the right. Go ahead and go up to the right. Don't get drunk.
Hey, Gene.
Gene.
I hear you.
I don't drink, sir, so don't.
Bother you.
I ain't gonna take nothing.